We are here. We are back. Episode number 10 of the Good Old Hockey Podcast. We've hit double digits, Gally. Hopefully we'll hit triple digits someday.
Number 10, D-Ace.
Thank you guys for tuning in today, tonight, whatever time you're listening to this. We've got some good stuff, not as juicy as last week in terms of NHL news. But before we get into that, Gally, how was your weekend?
It was pretty good. Chilled. I had a white elephant party I went to. I've never done white elephant. Got a sick ass game called Can Jam. Have you ever played that before?
I have. That game is so fun.
It's pretty fun. So I'm stoked on that. Went to the white elephant, and then I had a hockey game on Sunday. I have 3 hockey games this week. I have a hockey game yesterday. I had one on tomorrow at 10 p.m., which is gonna blow. And then I think I have another one at 10 p.m. on this upcoming Sunday. So we got 3 games this week, which I'm stoked on. But lots of hockey for this week. It was a pretty chill weekend though. Just trying to save my money a little bit because I got a lot of spending to do for Christmas gifts. But how was your weekend?
It was pretty good. I filled it on the Christmas side. I haven't shopped at all. I don't have any money at all, so should be fun. We'll see what I can pull out of my ass. But yeah,
100%.
The weekend we do. I think I kind of chilled at home on Friday, which was definitely a rarity. I'm kind of entering this phase where we haven't. I don't think I've gone downtown in 3 weeks now, maybe more than that.
Damn, dude, that's so long.
Yeah, no, it feels like. It
does feel long. I agree.
It is. Like, normally we were going, especially
every week.
Every weekend, maybe a couple off weekends here and there. But, yeah, didn't do anything Friday really. Played some Fortnite. Got a little drunk, played NHL. Oh, my God. Oh, dude, okay. I have to show you a clip after this. Something that in NHL I did last night. It was crazy. But you play like...
You got NHL 24?
Yeah, I do on Xbox One or Xbox Series S, whatever.
See, I got Xbox One NHL 24. I don't know if I can play with you.
No, you have to have the next gen.
God damn it!
I'll show that. I think I can pull it up somewhere, but I don't know. Anyways, did that Friday. Saturday we had a poker night actually, which was fun.
Okay.
It came out. We did like $10 buy-ins, pretty cheap.
Nice.
We went to Chili's first. This was, God, it's so like mid-20s. Like, we went to Chili's and then had a poker night. It was fun though. I came out $6 up.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was fun. Last night, nothing crazy. Watched a couple hockey games. Now we're here.
Dude, how are you doing in like fantasy football? Do you have to do any punishments? Are you in last in any leagues?
No, so I actually didn't get to do fantasy football this year. I was late to the game, and people had asked, and I was like, nah, I don't really want to do it because I do fantasy baseball too, and fantasy baseball kind of like interlaps with fantasy football, and the fantasy baseball league I was in is $100 buy-ins and $1,000 pot. So I was really focused on trying to get through playoffs, and I lost like the week before the NFL draft, or the NFL season. So I was kind of scrambling around, but I'm doing fantasy hockey and my team's not doing hot. I'm very mid.
I've gotten second place in my fantasy baseball. It's not $100 league. I would love to join one of those, but I've gotten second 3 years in a row in my fantasy baseball league. It is fucking brutal, dude.
Yeah.
So I'm bound to win it. Speaking of other sports shit, fucking $700 million contract for Ohtani.
I actually, so today I was looking at like someone broke down like the weekly, monthly, his like annual, weekly, and monthly salary. His monthly salary is like $3 million more than the average NHL salary, which is crazy.
That's crazy, dude.
So he's making $3 million more a month than the average NHL player a year. But I don't know if you saw this. He deferred $680 million.
Yeah, what?
So basically he's getting paid now $2 million a year.
Yeah.
He's going to make all the rest of his money when he retires, which is genius. But it gives the Dodgers more room to buy players, which the Dodgers.
I think that's fucking bullshit, dude.
I
Like,
do
you
too.
shouldn't
I
be
don't know
able
how
to.
much
You
I
shouldn't be
agree.
able to do that in MLB. Like,
Yeah,
I think it's a smart move. Don't get me wrong. Like, if you can do it, then do it. But like, the MLB needs to figure that shit out because, like, the fact how stacked the Dodgers are, it's like they are the team to beat, and the season's 5 months away right now. So
yeah,
it's like,
they're always the team to beat, and they always choke it unless it's a short season, like they got
I
in
mean,
2020. But
yeah, they are kind of always the team to beat. I mean,
yeah,
the Yankees are kind of like that too, but
same way. But then they choke. So we'll see
yeah.
how it turns out for them. But if they're able to add more players because he got rid of what he was making $70 million a year, and now he's making two. That's $68 more a year they can pay someone.
Dude, think if they could do that in the NHL. It would be insane. I feel like Toronto, the Rangers, the Bruins, and the Kings would be dominant. But see, that's what I like about the NHL. It's like the cap like is sweet because like not the best markets of teams, aka Calgary, can still compete some years. Let alone at least have their fans think they can compete, even though they're going to be mediocre every year. But yeah, it is kind of nice because at least the fans get hope. Like if you're an A's fan or a fucking like a Cincinnati Reds fan, like you're just like, dude, our payroll's like $30-40 million. Like what are we supposed to do about that?
Yeah. I saw something about the A's. They were like, they offered Shohei Ohtani $1 million for 700 years or something like that. Or no, they offered him $1 for 7 million years, something like that. But they'll be in Vegas now, so maybe they'll get some more money. But anyways, enough of baseball talk. In our weekend, we did have some good, interesting stuff over the last week. First one on here that we're going to talk about, the Oilers. We talk about this team a lot this part of the season so far, and I think it's because they've had such a high ceiling and high hopes, and they have not met that. And McDavid too. But recently, they're now on a 7-game win streak. McDavid has had 20 points during that streak, which is insane. And I think he's coming back. I said a couple episodes ago, I was like, I haven't really seen him a whole lot on ESPN. And I kind of know that means he hasn't been playing that well. And sure enough, the past 2 weeks, I've seen probably 4 or 5 Connor McDavid highlights on ESPN. So good to see for the sport of hockey because he is a great player and obviously it's going to grow our game. And also Evan Bouchard, he's got an 11-game point streak, which is third for defenseman behind Quinn and Kale.
Yeah. I think he's a sleeper for he's a sleeper for the Norris. I don't know if he's got it in him, but honestly, I think he's a sleeper just because he's on the Oilers. Because I feel like if you throw in his point production and if he can keep that up, damn. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat out Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar, but when you have McDavid and Draisaitl, you're getting secondary and primary assists a lot of the nights from those players because they score so much. I mean, his point production could go up quite a bit. And the fact he's on an 11-game point streak just proves that. It's like you might be having an off night, but then you might get a fucking secondary assist on an empty net goal for McDavid or whatever, or Draisaitl. So I think that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, I think McDavid, Draisaitl are back up to speed. I still think that goaltending could bite them in the ass. I don't think Skinner's like reliable. But shit, I mean, 7-game win streak, right? Yeah, 7-game win streak's insane. Like for them to have such a, because I don't remember. I think they went on a 5 or 6-game losing streak. Like they are turning it around right now. We'll see if it continues, but the Oilers are back. I feel like we spoke a little too soon when we were like, dude, they're not performing, and now we might have jinxed them a little bit. Now they're getting back up there, and it's crazy that Bouchard is just carrying the D-core like that because I think the next closest is Ekholm. So
is it? Yeah, probably.
Got 10 points.
I think overall, I think they're gonna start to climb back up in the standings, and we'll see in a couple months how those standings finish. Even at the end of this month, we'll see. But another team that's kind of been shocking everyone and shocking myself has been the San Jose Sharks. The last 10 games, they're 5-3-2, and when we started this podcast, I was like, it's kind of good because I won't just be able to just talk about the Sharks because they're not good. So I can kind of diversify myself and just talk about the NHL as a whole. But I was like, you know what? This is a good week. I can get my Shark talk in and be done with it. But they've been doing good. I think I haven't watched a whole lot of their games. I've been pretty busy these past 2 weeks, but um, from what I have seen, I think it's for them. I think they're just clicking a bit right now and kind of just riding the high together, which I think is good. But I saw this comment and someone was like, I think it was some post NHL made about the Sharks, and they're like, the Sharks are like a toddler and they're taking their first steps. And it's so cute and you're proud of them, but you know that they're going to fall on their ass in about 2 seconds. So I saw that comment and made me laugh. And I was like, yeah, honestly, I could see that. And I think it's good for the players and the young guys on the team to kind of have that, be like, okay, we can do this. We're not going to be failures,
100%. And I also think, Thomas Hurdle, how long is he? I want to say he's creeping up on 10-ish years with the team.
Yeah, he is. He's 28 right now.
So. Yeah, he's been on the team for a while, and he got the second star of the week for the NHL this week, and he's been on a tear. I want to say he got like 6 or 7 points in the past 3 games. So, I think those players are starting. Because the Sharks do have some decent players. Hurdle is definitely one of them. I'd say their best player by far.
Oh, yeah.
But for him to be playing good, it gives at least the fans in the organization somewhat to watch the games, come to the games. I don't know. Obviously the Bay Area is not the craziest hockey market, but it's definitely something different and probably a lot cheaper than going to a Warriors game.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't know. I could be totally fucking up on this geography right now about where the Warriors play and Sharks play, but
San Francisco's only with traffic maybe an hour. So if you're living anywhere in between there, you could easily make it out to San Jose for a game, especially if you're a hockey fan. But yeah, I think the one thing I've always noticed as a Sharks fan is the fans definitely pay attention when they're winning, and when they're losing, they don't. And that's just kind of how it is in sports in the Bay Area in general. Like, I think the Niners will always be a team that everyone can watch because I think football's just so different because you can watch it one time a week versus 3 or 4 games a week. And obviously the Niners are a good team this year, but I've noticed that with teams, like when they start doing poorly, the fans don't really show out for them. So that's a part of it too. I think why the games are so cheap, but yeah.
I do think them in headlines. I like to see that. They're also tied. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just saying, like, I like to see that the Sharks are in the news for good and not for bad. But I do think we still do need to suck because we need to rebuild and get some more players because we can't just play mid the whole time and just kind of slowly build this team. We need some rock stars to come and fill those shoes that are very, very big to fill with Marlowe, Pavelski, Thornton, all those guys.
Totally. I think it's interesting because now looking at the standings, they're actually tied with the Hawks and 1 point behind the Ducks for the last place team in the league. Yeah. So the Sharks are officially not. I think this might be the first time in the season they're not the worst team in the league.
Yeah. I think we could see. Who knows with the.
At least they're tied. I wouldn't say they're not.
They definitely are one of the worst teams in the league, but recently they've been playing good. So.
Do you think they're going to trade Hurdle for picks if you're saying rebuild,
I think there's a lot of issues with the Sharks. We can get into that like maybe in the off season because there's a lot I could think of. But for that question, I think it's tough to do that because like he's obviously a big piece. I think getting rid of Timo Meyer was a good decision just in terms of longevity. Like he's not going to. And I think with Hurdle too, like by the time the Sharks are competitive again, I don't know. I think it's worth to keep him around as kind of an older presence on the team, veteran presence, especially in like 4 or 5 years when the team is competitive again. I think, hopefully. I think it'd be good to have him around, but also to rebuild. He's really the only piece they have to move. Like Couture, a little bit older. His contract's pretty heavy, and other than that, there's just not really. So
yeah, I feel like teams would pay pretty good price for Hurdle. But
yeah, I think he's definitely
Couture does kind of have a tough contract on him. So
he does. So I think it's like $8 million or something like that. And so is honestly Hurdles is pretty big too. But we'll see what they do.
Definitely.
But enough about the Sharks. Next thing on here is a goalie goal. We got to witness that this last week, which is
Pretty
always
sweet.
cool to see. We got one last year with who was it, Omar?
Yeah, Omar.
That goalie goal, which
I don't think there was one till like 2017 or something.
Yeah.
So there's been two years in a row of goalie goals were blessed. I love the goalie goal, dude. It's just I think full ice goals are cool itself, but when a goalie's able to do it, it's like, damn. They're also taking a risk too, because I feel like it's throwing it up right in the middle of the ice. It's a little bit dangerous, but yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Speaking of, I mean, I think the Penguins are starting to make a little bit of strides too. I mean, within their division, they're only 3 games back behind the Capitals. So, and shit, yeah, I guess only 3 games back from a playoff spot. So it's pretty tight in the East, but they're starting to at least climb a little bit.
Cool. Yeah, it's cool to see the Penguins. I mean, obviously they have that aging roster that I said in the beginning of the season that I just didn't really see a whole lot of success from them coming. But as a fan of the game, it's nice to see those teams that have those stars like Malkin, Crosby, Letang, and Carlson too have some success. So I think it's cool. But I think that pretty much wraps up most of the news we had. We're going to move in next to our Contenders or Pretenders segment, which is one of my newly favorite names of one of our segments. But go ahead and kick it off. I know you've got some stats about this team that we're going to
do. So I think one of the biggest surprises this year is the Winnipeg Jets. I think a lot of people slept on them for how good they're going to be. I mean, they're top of the Central Division. It's a very hard division to play in with both the Avs and the Stars being there, which it's pretty damn impressive how good they've been this season. I mean, not only that, the Predators are in there, Blues, Coyotes, who aren't having the best of years, but they're still competing within the division. So I think it's a very difficult division to play in. But it's interesting because that LA Winnipeg trade that happened, I think it was this offseason with Pierre-Luc Dubois, definitely worked out for Winnipeg quite a bit because LA did give up a lot for him, and he's on pace for 36 points, which is a career low. But yeah, I mean, Los Angeles giving away 2 key points or two core parts, Velarde and Iafallo, which I don't say they are having the best of years, but those were pretty key parts of the LA Kings team, and I think they're going to fit in pretty well with the Jets. But it's interesting because both teams are finding success for that. I think Pierre-Luc Dubois is overrated. So, I mean, you can take that however you want it, but they gave up way too much for him, I think. But something happened I think it was last night. I know it was over the weekend. When I saw it, I was like, oh shit, because it looked like a bad injury. Kyle Connor went knee to knee with, I forgot who it was, but he went knee to knee with a player, and he looked hurt, and he had to get helped off the ice, and that's a huge blow because one, he's 4th in the league in goals, with 17 goals. I mean, he's just 2 goals behind first place, so I think he was having a very, very good year. He was on pace for a career high of 54 goals, which I don't think he's hit 50 goals in his career ever. Could be wrong about that, but dude, Kyle Connor is their best player by a mile, and losing him, they could hurt. I mean, they're on a 4-game win streak right now, but it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back without Kyle Connor. But I don't know. What's your take on the Jets?
I think the thing is, I don't really pay attention to the Jets too much. Let's see. Last year they made a wild card spot in the playoffs, so I wasn't too shocked. They do have a great goalie, Connor Hellebuyck. So obviously that's going to take you pretty far just in the season, having a good goaltender.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was definitely kind of shocked at that Pierre-Luc Dubois trade, and I wasn't really sure how that was going to turn out for them. I know the last couple of weeks, just watching them move in the standings, I know they have been pretty decent, or they've been at least on the rise, and now leading the Central, which I did not know that, or at least tied. But yeah, I think Kyle Connor's definitely a huge piece for them. Glad he's not too injured. But yeah, I think overall, I would personally give them. I think they're legit contenders, especially when it comes to playoff time, because it's hard. Because I really don't. Any team that's in that 1 through 3 slot, like in their division, I think is a contender for the cup.
Yeah.
No matter how you look at it, I think those 3 teams, the wild card can kind of be iffy. I mean, it really depends on how close they are with everyone. But looking at it right now, 1 through 3 is only split up by 1 point in the Central. So I wouldn't really say that they would not be, that they're pretenders. I think they're a legit contender this year. But they're definitely not one of my favorites to win the cup.
Yeah, no, I think, I wouldn't say they're a favorite, but yeah, no, I think they're definitely within, the conversation. I mean, they do only have 3 playoff series wins in the past 9 years. Yeah, that is a little tough. But I mean, they haven't been too good necessarily in the playoffs. But I do think that, I think 2018 they lost a conference final. So, that's not too far away, but I feel like they do have like a roster that's full of experienced players in the playoffs. So I'd put them a sneaky contender especially for the West. I feel like a lot of playoffs. Yeah, I feel like in the playoffs the Jets can perform well. I think it's really going to have to come down to Hellebuck, and if he's going to continue the success, because I think I believe he's playing pretty well. I kind of want to pull up his stats right now. Don't have him off the top of my head. But yeah, he's 13-6. That's his record, and .915 his percentage. So he's doing pretty good. But I'd say a sneaky pretender. So
sneaky pretender or sneaky contender?
Or sorry, sneaky contender.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say
sneaky contender, not a sneaky pretender. Fuck.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I would agree with that. What stat were you pulling up?
Just the Hellebuck's numbers. Sorry, I just set him off. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're good. I wasn't sure if we need to wait for you, but cool. Yeah, we're gonna give them a sneaky contender. I'll ride that with you. That one, but the next one are the Flyers. This team, I did not really have high hopes for in the off season, like coming up to like predictions and stuff. So I'm kind of shocked. They did have a good start to the year though, and I think having that. I'm looking at the Metro right now. I'm shocked that Carolina is at 29, which you know what?
Yeah, they're only 3 points. Yeah, I mean the Metro is close. That's what I'm saying. So, I think the Blue Jackets are out for the season. I think the Pens are going to be chasing everyone, but
yeah.
Even the Devils, since we last spoke, the Devils have made some pretty good strides in the past.
Yeah,
they're 6. Yeah, so they've made some strides in the past week, and I think they're playing a little bit better. I wouldn't say they're up to their standards of how good they want to play this year, or anyone's predicting. But yeah, the Flyers is just like such a surprise, and they're on a 4-game win streak right now. The thing that I really noticed about them is like their roster. They don't really have any superstars like Konecny. I don't know if I'm saying that. Travis Konecny. Fucking A. That's a tongue twister. But he's got 23 points. He's not even in the top 50 for NHL players. So, I think their points are spread out throughout their lines, and I feel like a lot of the times that's how Philadelphia plays when they have successful teams. It's like they'll beat you up with all four lines, and have a solid D, but also Carter Hart is playing really good too. I feel like that's another recipe to like a really good Philadelphia teams. They have that goaltending strength, and I wouldn't say 9-6 is the most shocking record ever, but for being on a Philadelphia team and having a 919 save percentage, that's pretty impressive, especially in the division that they're in. So I thought very impressive 5-2 win against Colorado. I think that might have been last night or Saturday. So the Flyers are. I mean, they're looking good right now, but
what's your term for them?
I think they're a pretender. I think that they're going to make the playoffs, but I would be very, very, very damn surprised to see them make it past the second round. Could maybe see them winning, a series possibly. But I mean, you're going out in the Metro, and you're going to be. I mean, I don't think they're going to be out the Rangers. So then you're playing 2v3.
Yeah.
I think that they could even crack a wild card spot, but then you're playing one of the number one teams in those divisions. So I mean, it's gonna be tough for the Flyers to get past that. But I'd say if Carter Hart can keep it up, I mean, shit, who knows? Because a lot of the times goaltenders can give teams pretty long runs. But right now, I just say they're a pretender just because I think their offensive firepower and what they bring to the table when it comes to that is a little weaker than a lot of teams in the East Coast. So, still a surprise though. Like, holy shit, they're doing good right now. They're on a 4-game win streak. So
I did not think that they were going to be in this. I thought they were going to be right above Columbus, I guess. But yeah, I would slap the pretenders on them. I don't really know that they're going to make playoffs because we haven't hit the halfway mark yet. And I think there we can see the standings for what they are and kind of see from there. It's like, all right, who's going to be chasing, who's going to be leading, and who's going to be fighting for that wild card spot. I don't know. Like you said, I don't know that they have that. I just don't see them making it even to the playoffs. So I'm going to give them a fat pretender. That's my prediction.
Interesting. Dude, Philly's one place I really want to see any sport game, but especially a hockey game. I feel like Flyers fans are ruthless, dude. It would be scary to go in there as a away fan, not going to lie.
It would.
That'd be somewhere like that. There in Boston, I'd be like, holy shit, this is...
I'd be wearing neutral colors for sure.
Well, speaking of away games, I'm going to, I think I've mentioned this before, I'm going to a Ducks Flames game on the 21st. I'm so fucking stoked for it.
Game, right?
No, not a Kings game. I'm just going to a Ducks game.
Okay.
Not to chirp Anaheim fans, but it's probably not going to be the most exhilarating venue. I've heard the games there can be quiet sometimes, but it is close to Christmas, so maybe there'll be some more fans there. But watching the Flames play, so hopefully we can get the dub. It's going to be my first time being an away Flames fan at any of these games, so
I don't think I've ever...
pretty stoked.
I don't think I've ever done that. I've never been an away fan. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever been to like a Sharks game, not at the Shark Tank. Like, it's always been like I've seen the Predators play. I've seen the Coyotes play in their disgusting barn at the time.
Are you saying Mullet Arena?
No. This was this is like over probably 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
And it was in Glendale back when they were the Phoenix Coyotes. And my whole team was able to get spots together, like at the very top, but the tickets were dirt cheap. So we were all able to go together. It's a fun time, but yeah, that place was empty as shit. But
definitely.
All right. Well, let's move on from contenders and pretenders. We're going to jump into what we did last week. Starting lineup. So last week we did some NFL players. It's kind of a more fun segment for us, less hockey news and more fun for you guys because, like you guys know, we're not the most experted people in the field when it comes to hockey, but we do know how to have fun. So we're going to do that. Gal, you can start off. Name your starting lineup. This week, we're going to be doing cartoon TV characters. So
yeah,
just TV characters in general.
So how I'm thinking of doing this, I think I'm going to list them all off, and then you can list yours off, and then we can kind of go into why.
Okay.
So yeah, just starting out at left wing, I got Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. I got center, I got Ike from South Park, Kyle's adopted Canadian brother. Right wing, I got the Roadrunner. Interesting pick there. At my D1, I got Ricky from Trailer Park Boys, so two Trailer Park Boys picks. And then my other D, I got Happy Gilmore. And then for my goalie, I got Patrick Starr. So to round it out, we got Patrick Starr. So we got some diverse characters in here. But I do really like my lineup, and I'll go into it after you list your lineup.
All right, so for mine, I just tried to think of my favorite shows. That was the easiest way to do it. But up at left wing, I've got From How I Met Your Mother, Mr. Barney Stinson. At center, I've got whatever. No, I don't know why I said that. At center, I've got Mr. Bugs Bunny there. He's my well, not my captain, but right wing, I've got Dwight Schrute. Left wing, I've got Chandler Bing. Rest in peace. And right defense, I've got Mr. Tony Soprano. And at goalie, I've got Peter Griffin. So
pretty good picks.
Yeah. So I want to hear more about why you went with your picks and what the role is on your team.
So I think we can start off with just forward lines and kind of explain it. So with my forward line, I want to get a mix of both skill, speed, but also hockey IQ. I think hockey IQ is very, very important for my team. Having Bubbles, Ike, and the Roadrunner on one forward line, it's a very driven line by hockey IQ. I mean, these are some smart players. Obviously, the Roadrunner is going to be speedy, quick, McDavid type speed. I don't think he necessarily has as much smarts as Ike and Bubbles, but I do think that he is going to drive a lot of the rushes, a lot of the offensive rushes, and I do think that going into he's going to be excellent in the neutral zone. He's going to be able to get it out, play against the trap. I do know, he's pretty quiet in the locker room. It's not too good with English. Kind of just makes meep meep noises, but I do think he's a really good winger. But I mean, I know what you're saying with Ike. He's Canadian, so obviously, he's gonna have that hockey IQ built into him. But he does have some very good experience under his belt. I mean, he's got NHL level experience against the Red Wings.
That is true.
I mean, he was the MVP for the South Park hockey team. Ike is one of my favorite characters in South Park because he was so good at hockey. But I really do think that he's got that hockey IQ. He's got the experience to really drive the team. But then Bubbles, I think I was saving the best for last. Bubbles allegedly taught Sidney Crosby all he knows about hockey. They're both from the same area, both from the Maritime provinces up in Canada. So he does have that hockey IQ. He has that mentorship. I really feel like he's, I think people called him Gretzky of the trailer park. He's really damn good. So I think his ball hockey skills easily can translate onto the ice. But I do think I have a pretty star-studded lineup.
He's Canadian, so he's got that in him.
And he's Canadian. So we got 2 Canadians and then a fucking Arizonan. So wherever the fuck, somewhere in the desert.
Somewhere in the desert. I think Roadrunner, I like him as a pick because you said that he maybe doesn't have the best hockey IQ, but if you watch his highlights on Looney Tunes, you will see that he's a smart bird. He knows what he's doing. He's thinking ahead of his competition. He's always one step ahead of his competition. So I think that's a good pick there.
100%. He's clever. When it comes against Wile E. Coyote, he's clever going against those traps. I 100% think that with good mentorship and good coaching, I don't think his hockey DB shows that he's been the best player in his career, but with good mentorship, good coaching, I think the Roadrunner can really turn into a solid player.
I agree. All right, so my forwards, I've got Barney Stinson up on left wing, like I said. My reason for picking him is he's the confident superstar. He's looking at the Rockets up on the stands the whole game. He's the one that sells tickets, right? He's the reason the ladies come to watch the game. immediately once he knows that there are some hot chicks in the stands, his overall in NHL goes up by like 10, just by girls being in the stands. For center, for Bugs Bunny, the reason I picked him, he's just the true center down the middle. He's everything you could ask for in a center. He's going to be a little bit chirpy too. He's going to be talking some shit to the other team. He's going to get in their head a bit, and he knows what he's doing. And then Dwight Schrute, my assistant captain. Bugs Bunny's the other assistant captain as well. But Dwight Schrute being the assistant captain, he's a loyal, hardworking forward. He's that guy. He's always going to stick by. He's not going to ask for a trade. He's going to stick through the team no matter what. Even if we're Sharks caliber, bottom of the barrel, he will be there and be the coach's pet. He's a little psycho in his pregame routines and stuff like that. He's a little quiet. He's a little intense for the people that are joking a little bit too much. I'll move into my defenseman, and then you can move back into yours. Yeah. But, so with him, be a little psycho. I also have Chandler being in there at left defense. He is a big Rangers fan from New York City. But he's the locker room guy. He's the morale guy. He gets everyone's spirits up and excited and just ready to go before the game. Dwight maybe gets a little annoyed with him because he's a little bit too jokey. But he is the locker room guy, brings everyone's morale up. Now, for right defense, my captain, Mr. Tony Soprano, he is the enforcer. He's going to make sure no one is taking any shots, both in hockey and off the ice, to make sure that they're staying in line, you know. All these guys on the team, they're all stars. But he's going to be the one that makes sure no one touches them. And if you want to get in a fight with Tony Soprano, you better get ready because you're getting your ass kicked. So let's hear your – actually, I'll go to the goalie too. Peter Griffin, again, another kind of Marc-Andre Fleury type where he's going to get in the other team's head. He's a little crazy. He is big. He's a big presence in there. He's a tall guy. Big guy. Huge guy. His downside is, though, he's got a big alcohol problem. He's a drinker. He's stuck in 80s style hockey, doing coke in the locker room and drinking all the time. So that's his downside. But he is part of the glue. I think everyone on that team is a glue guy that kind of brings everyone together in this perfect lineup. So go ahead and tell yours.
Yeah, no, those are good. I love the Tony Soprano pick's good. I would not want to play hockey against him. I feel like he's laying the boom too big time. Like he's gonna beat the shit out of you, and he's also gonna do Nicholas Cronwall type hits. But you know, just
he's like a Scott Stevens is what I was thinking. He's like perfect big captain. Don't want to fuck with him.
That's a good compare. But yeah, no, I think for my first D, I got Ricky from the Trailer Park Boys. I did say, you know, I got 2 Trailer Park Boys. But one, he's a stay-at-home D. You know, I think it's hard to move that guy out of where his home is or what he classifies his home is, whether it's a trailer park, whether it's a car, whether it's nothing at all. He's going to be stay-at-home D for you. So, you know, I also think he's going to be physical. No one really fucks with Ricky. You know, he's gone off to Leahy before. He's gone off of Bubbles and you know, in ball hockey and street hockey. You know, he's pretty damn good. He's versatile. I know he does sometimes play goalie. So I think that really helps out his defensive, you know, IQ. But yeah, and a great e-bug, great backup. But you know, I think he is the leader. He would be the leader of the team. I'd probably give him the captain for the whole team. But you know, I think he's really willing to drop the gloves, and he's, you know, it's going to be very hard to get past him, to say the least, because you know, I think he's going to be chirping you. He's going to be laying the boom, and I think he's got a great shot behind him. So he would be my D number 1. And then my D number 2, I'm going with Happy Gilmore. I think he's got the best clap bomb probably in the league. You know, he is short-tempered, which I think kind of draws his skill level back sometimes, but his hockey IQ is just instilled in him. I mean, people might try to get him to switch up different sports and you know, change up his grip when it comes to golf, but you know, he's not changing that. It's built into this guy. So I really do think his hockey IQ is there. But he also has a pretty good you know, backing. He's a big Bruins fan. I feel like he'd probably be a fan favorite too. So that could potentially hurt the team, but also it could be really good for the team's popularity when it comes to money and whatnot. And then to round it out, we got Patrick motherfucking Star for goalie. Another sort of similar case to Peter Griffin. He's huge. And, I think being a star, you do have a pretty big 5-hole, but, that you're not going to be able to get past a lot of that blocker glove side because, a star is a way bigger, in terms of diameter, it's way bigger arm than a human arm. So maybe similar to Peter Griffin. I could be wrong on that. But I do really think that, Patrick Star would be a solid goaltender. Necessarily, I don't think he has the best reaction skills. But he's kind of a weird guy too. He lives on a damn rock, so
he does. Yeah.
And all the SpongeBob characters are a little bit weird, but Patrick Star is definitely one of the most interesting one. But
you gotta have a weird goalie.
You gotta have a weird goalie. So that's my lineup. I think we both have some solid lineups.
We do.
So
we want to hear from you guys though, as fans. Whose team do you think would be if we went up head to head? Me and Gally's team. We got those characters together, put them on the ice. Who do you think would win? Let us know in the comments. And we just want to hear that from you guys. But I think that one's always fun. I like doing that. If anyone has ideas too that's listening, if you guys want to hear our starting lineup for any other kind of category, let us know in the comments as well if you can think of anything. I think that pretty much wraps up what we have here on our plate. We've been trying to do these a little bit shorter shows for the listeners, and we thank you guys if you guys are listening to this point. Any other last things you want to say?
Not much. I just want to say, thank you to the listeners. We're 2 followers away from 150, which it's baby steps, but we're getting there. So I do appreciate everyone listening. I feel like both me and Sean are really progressing, and our ideas, and feel like we're on our 10th episode, coming from our first and second episode. It's came a long ways. Rather than just kind of talking about hockey, now we're kind of actually making a schedule and trying to slim down on the time rather than rambling on for hours. But I think our show's got a lot of potential, and I really want to hop into the interview space, public speaking space, all sorts of stuff with this podcast. So really stoked to be on board, and let's keep it firing.
I agree with everything Gally just said. Anyone that listened also last week to the award show, thank you for coming in, voting for us for best podcast of the year. We were very close to winning, but the In the End Zone boys won, and we're happy for them, by the way. Anyways, anyone that is listening, if you guys haven't listened to the award show yet, go listen to that. It is amazing. It's hour and 45 minutes, but it's a great hour and 45 minutes. It's super entertaining. I do recommend watching it over listening it if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music. If you get the chance, go watch that. It's a fucking great episode. We had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, I drank a lot.
There will be more. Gally got twisted by the end. I think, it was funny. But other than that, everyone, we appreciate you guys listening to us. And don't forget to go follow all of our socials so you can get all the updates on our podcast and all the other podcasts as well. Help us out. 2 followers away. If you guys know anyone of your friends that aren't following us, send that to them. Be like, hey, you need to be following Settle Down Media. And get that name out. But other than that, guys, we will see you next week. And Gally, I will talk to you not just after the show, but we might have some stuff coming up this weekend. So we'll see.
100%. Go Flames too. Play the Avs.